Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. All right. I am just getting... All right. Hello, everybody. Look at that beautiful palm tree. I'm going to wait for everybody to get on. Just loading up a couple things here real quick. So far, so good. Okay? So far, a large part of the East Coast has thankfully dodged a huge, huge bullet. Round number 1 over. Okay? Tornado threat, done. All right? So, which is good. There is still a straight line wind threat that we're going to have to contend with, though. And I'm going to get into that here in a second. I'm going to show you where that threat is right now and how the modeling is playing it, handling it moving forward. Big, oh my gosh. You guys are going to wake up tomorrow. Again, I'm going to give it a few minutes here. I want everybody to get on, and then, I'll start getting into it like we always do. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I'm just going to say you guys are going to wake up tomorrow morning and say, what the heck is going on around here? Let me give you an example, all right? Right now, the air temperature is still in the low 60s in Philadelphia. The current wind chill in Pittsburgh is 18. We're going from about 61 or 62 in Philadelphia to a wind chill of 19 in Pittsburgh. That's like a 40, 41, 42, 43 degree temperature swing. It's just unbelievable. And tomorrow I was looking at it. So tomorrow, even though temperatures will eventually get into the low 40s for highs, your feels like temperatures are probably going to be no better than upper 20s to, low 30s at best all day. It's a chilly, brisk, raw day, especially considering you guys had so many days in the 60s, 70s, and 80s now. I mean, you guys have been way out of the deep freeze now. And so, you're kind of getting used to some warmer weather, maybe some t-shirt weather and shorts, and now you're going to get hit with this as we get into tomorrow morning, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. If you listen, I'm going to give it another 2 minutes here. If you listen closely, you can hear all the wildlife behind you. I mean, we've got the sandhill cranes making noises. I call them long-beaked chickens. They're called ibis, something like that. They're making all these crazy noises. You'll see the squirrels climb up the screen because we got bird feeders in the back now. I mean, it's peaceful to sit out here in the early morning and in the evening. I don't turn the TV on. I'll have the ceiling fans going, and I'll just sit here. I'll kick my feet up like this. I'll have my bowl of cereal, a couple, bottles of water, and just relax. And you just listen to nature. It's really, really nice. Okay, so again, I'm going to give it another minute or two. Thankfully, Michael, my pleasure, buddy. I'm always going to be here for you guys. Thankfully, again, round number 1 failed to materialize. All right, that was the big Is that Wendy Flamma? Hi, sissy. How are you? Round number 1 failed to materialize. Thank goodness. With the way, what I will say is this. With the way the atmosphere was looking, all right, I will never apologize for getting you guys ready. It could have been, if this materializes, people's homes would have been destroyed. I mean, they were talking about, the SPC was talking about long track EF2s minimum. That's a massive tornado. That's almost equivalent to what devastated the Mulliga Hill area. And they were talking about several of them. That's why they put the enhanced threat so far. It was so much part of the country. I mean, right now, the enhanced threat is still up. It's from Pennsylvania all the way down to South Carolina because they're still worried about the second round that's got to come through. But if that tornado threat would have materialized, you would have been talking about people with destroyed houses, probably injured people, loss of life. It would have been, people's lives would have been changed forever. That's how crazy this thing was looking at one point. This is one of those situations where it didn't materialize. thank goodness. Let's move on. You know what I mean? But the best part is you guys were ready, okay? I mean, it was so bad that they were canceling schools. I mean, just want to throw that out there. Storm Prediction Center, who makes these calls, they're the ones that issue all the tornado stuff, all the severe weather stuff. Everything comes out of them. They're based in Norman, Oklahoma. They are some of the finest forecasters in the entire world. I mean, these guys live, eat, sleep, breathe severe weather. And when, they have these discussions, and, I can't share the discussions with you guys because it is so technical. I mean, there's times where I've got to read it multiple times just to understand everything they're saying. It's a lot of technical stuff. And if I post that discussion, you guys are going to be like, what the heck did you just say? Their discussions were scary. They were scary given the sheer that is associated with this, okay? Thankfully, we had a lot of clouds. It looks like it limited thunderstorm growth. It limited instability. And like down here in South Florida, we really weren't even expecting a severe threat today. We had we could get an isolated storm or two. I think we had like 3 or 4 severe thunderstorm warnings down here. We broke out in the sun, and boom, those storms popped quick. And so, I mean, it didn't take long either. When we broke out in the sun, I'm going to say maybe an hour and a half later, 2 hours later, there was storms all along the Treasure Coast. So, I mean, it didn't take long. And, thankfully, that cloud deck held tough. It inhibited storm growth. And so you still got some thunderstorms up there, but they didn't live up to their full potential. I don't even know if you even got a single severe thunderstorm warning. I think you got one in Lancaster County, but that was it. Thank goodness, right? Okay, so now is round number 2. All right, this is the actual cold front. This is all straight line wind. All right, this is a straight line wind threat. I mean, sure, sometimes with a front, you get individual cells developing. You can get a spin up on either side of the cell. But in large part, a squall line is going to bring strong straight line winds, okay? These straight line winds are still being pegged by the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center as potentially 60 to 70 miles per hour. That's a big wind gust. All right, that's a big, big wind gust. That'll knock power lines down, okay? That'll create some structural damage, trees down, things like that. What you guys do have going for you up there is there's no leaves on the trees right now, okay? It's all just branches. When you get leaves on the trees and big winds like that, the leaves act like a canopy and it'll catch the wind, and that's how you get, all these toppled trees. You don't have that right now. The trees are bare. So that's another thing that we have in our favor. So hopefully, I think you're going to get round number 2. I think you're going to have some areas with 60 plus mile an hour winds here tonight. We'll see. But again, we've had several things go in our favor. 1 was the cloud cover. 2 is there's no leaves on the trees. 3 is this front is coming in now after sunset. Okay, this is all plus. This is all positive. Okay, the worst thing in the world that we would have seen was this system coming in during the heart of the day, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It had been full sun. This would have been an absolute nightmare. So things have gone our way. Let's keep the fingers crossed that they continue to go our way. All right, here's a look at the SPC. Notice again, we talked about this earlier, they have chiseled away at all of these outlooks from west to east. There's still a sliver here of enhanced, which is an elevated threat from, let's call it the Poconos, all the way down to Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, basically it's pretty much the I-95 corridor, honestly, okay, in areas to the east. That is a very high risk of severe weather. Notice the tornado threat is still there. All right, but it's mainly in Virginia, North Carolina. The wind threat, they are very concerned about straight line winds. You see that hatched area in purple? That is the potential for big, big winds. SPC still in their discussions, still have this as 70 plus mile an hour straight line winds in those areas. Well, that purple color goes all the way up to Pottsville in Schuylkill County, okay? It includes Reading, it includes Pottstown, it includes Lancaster, it includes Wilmington, it includes Dover, it includes Oxford, it includes Gettysburg, it includes York, Harrisburg, Baltimore, D.C. All of those areas are still in a very heightened alert for damaging straight line winds. All right, here's a look at the current radar. All right, and notice how this line starts to develop and blow up, but it's off the coast. All right, so I tell you what, there was nothing. You had some good stuff here at one point, nothing in here, and now all of a sudden this is starting to flare up. I mean, when I tell you we dodged a bullet, we dodged a bullet. Okay, this is just now starting to get going. All right, notice there's nothing going on right now in the Philadelphia area. This is what we got to keep our eyes on. Here's Harrisburg right here. This is actually snow flying on the backside, light snow. Okay, that's how cold it is. So it's snowing in Pittsburgh and Altoona, or at least flakes are in the air. All right, this is what we got to watch right here. All right, there's Frederick right there in Maryland. There's D.C., there's Baltimore, there's Philly. Okay, so it doesn't look very impressive right now. Okay, there's a look at the big temperature drop on the other side. And I hope, it's starting to get dark out here. I hope you guys can see. Can you guys see? I hope so. If not, I might be able to turn on a light out here. Let me see real quick. Let me see. I think I have a light, but it's not very bright. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I do got these lights too. This might work. Ha! It did. All right, here goes the other one. Hey. Ah! Let there be light. All right. This should be a lot better. All right. Nothing on the TV today. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, you can see the tremendous contrast in temperature here. Now, you're looking at wind chill. So you can clearly see the low to mid 60s here east, and then the teens in the western part of the state. So again, we're looking to see whether or not that contrast and the energy and the dynamics get this second round going. Here's what the model suggests. All right, this is current. All right, so this is, what are we at? This is 6 p.m. All right, there, that's current, okay? Right there, I'm sorry. Now, it does show the line, but it has the line a little more developed. The modeling has it a little more developed than it actually is right now. All right, so that is 8 o'clock. There's 9. Actually, that kind of looks like how it is now. There's 10. There's 11. There's midnight. Okay, it's still a pretty good line. And then there's 1 o'clock in the morning, and now the cold air is rushing in. Here's a look at the winds. You can clearly see it right there. Okay. Now, these are synoptic winds, regardless of whether or not you get thunderstorms. Look at the 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts. Again, this doesn't even measure the thunderstorms, and it's got 56 miles per hour in Reading. There it is pushing through. See that right there? That says 57 miles per hour, Atlantic City at the airport. Okay? It's about 10 o'clock at night. Is it? Hold on, let me go back. Okay, that's 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I'm sorry, that's midnight. That's the midnight hour. Okay? Those are big winds, regardless of whether or not we get thunderstorms. There's 1 o'clock in the morning. There's your front right there. Okay, it's off the coast. Winds have shifted out of the northwest. Here comes the cold air. Look at the winds right now on the high mountaintops here in the Johnstown, Altoona area. You're over 70 miles per hour there. And the front's all the way over here. That's all a strong, cold northwest wind tomorrow morning. Oh, tomorrow's going to feel terrible. Let's do the future wind gusts. Look at that. Wow. That's 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh my gosh, I hope that's overdone. Oh, man. Wow. That's 11 o'clock in the morning. At midday, you've still got wind chills in the teens, north and west, according to this model. Wow. 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 If it makes you feel any better, it's going to be in the 70s here. Just kidding. It's just really cold. Oh my gosh. All right, let me show you something real quick too. All right. Okay. Here's the European model. This is for Philadelphia. All right, you can see you guys were way in the 60s today. I don't know what the official high was in the city. It's got 62 for tomorrow, but keep in mind this is going to be the midnight temperature. Okay, once the front's through, like all day, you'll never get anywhere close to this when you guys are up or going to work and walking around. The afternoon high is probably about 42 or 43, something like that. Okay, so Tuesday's cold, Wednesday's cold, Thursday is chilly, but you're pulling out of it. And look at that: Friday 59, Saturday 67, Sunday 74, Monday 59, Tuesday's chilly 44, Wednesday 51, Thursday, Friday. You see what's going on here? This is really it, all right? You got some chilly, a brief cool shot here. You might have a brief cool day here, a brief cool day here. This is March. This is typical March weather. Okay, that's what happens this time of the year. Remember, winter is trying to desperately hold on. Spring is trying to come on like gangbusters. This is what happens, all right? You're getting a change of season here. You get cold shots followed by huge warm-ups, followed by brief cold shots, okay? This happens every year. So... there it is. Again, this is not winter's returning. Jane says, you are hysterical. Would love to play. Hold on, what'd she say? You are hysterical. Would love to play. I said something about poker. Would love to play poker with you. So here's what I'll do. That's really all I got for tonight, because I solely was focused on the severe weather. I was fired up, prepared, ready to go all night, if we had warnings popping. We don't, okay? If I'm going to go upstairs now and watch, I think it's Aladdin with my pagey. But if things get going again, I'll pop back on here again, so look for me. Again, right now, round number 1, the tornado threat is over. I think round number 2 is... just a straight line wind event, which I don't want any of you to take that lightly, because straight line winds can still produce a lot of damage. But one thing I did notice, all right, just to kind of go over this again, the modeling had that line a little bit stronger than it actually was at the present time. So maybe that's a sign that this squall line isn't going to be as strong either. Okay, and maybe round number 2 comes in and just the whole thing, just the whole thing never really fully materializes. That would be, a best case scenario. Okay. All right. That's going to do it for me. You guys take care. If I don't hop back on, if nothing's going on and I don't hop back on here tonight, I will see you guys again tomorrow at 7:30. Okay. All right. You guys take care.